What's up, witches? It's Luna, and may I say, oof. If you were trying to watch my live stream last night, you know that we had a Mercury retrograde shadow cluster yoo-hoo. That was something to behold. Yes, we are in the shadow. This is the full moon chart that I want to talk about mostly, but I do need to talk about this Mercury retro as well because they happen on the heels of each other. So the last couple weeks we've been in the shadow, and it's been brutal, as my experience over the last more than 10 years has been that the shadow can be even worse than the actual retro because it is the preview of coming attractions. You know, there's a reason we acknowledge the shadow. And I will remind you that astrology is based in observation. And so astrologers observing this shadow period over, however long, has taught us that it is significant. So first of all, my condolences for whatever you've been through. I had a friend this morning tag me on Facebook because she's gone through some crazy car issues this week with like a computer and bad gasoline and just bullshit. And she was like, shouldn't you be looking at my chart and blah, blah, blah. Well, she has Mercury ruling cars in her chart and Uranus conjuncting it. So yeah, I told her about that. And while I was typing my response, I heard this almighty fucking crash of breaking glass from my son's room. Terrifying. He has a shelf high up on the wall that's been up there for 5 years that has his bottle collection that decided to come crashing down. Fortunately, he was not here. So I'm so grateful for that because some of those bottles exploded all the way across the room over his bed. So we breathe. This Mercury, if you notice down at the bottom of the chart here, Mercury stations retrograde. So stations means it stops dead and then it turns direction. The station happens at 11:38 p.m. on September 9th, and this is in the Eastern time zone. So after that, it's going to be going backwards for 3 weeks, and then it will turn around again. The station happens at 8 degrees of Libra, and it will back up into just the last 4 degrees or so of Virgo before it turns again. So I'm just going to look generally at what those signs indicate, Mercury in those signs, but this is really where you need to know your chart and know where this retro is happening in your chart and which of your natal planets, if any, are going to be aspected during this time. So any planets you have between 26 degrees and 8 degrees will potentially take an aspect depending on what sign they're in. And that's going to show you specifically where things will be going off in your chart. So in Libra, we're talking about social interactions here. We're talking about communications between people, negotiations, contracts, relationships, communication within relationships. All of that stuff is what goes haywire. And let's take a hot second to review the rules of Mercury retro. Don't sign contracts, so that goes double, triple, quadruple for this particular Mercury retro. And there's an asterisk on that, and I will get to the asterisk in a moment. Don't sign contracts. Do not purchase big ticket items, electronic items. We'll leave it at that. And you don't want to schedule anything that you cannot easily reschedule. So don't schedule a wedding or a place where you've got to book multiple venues or things like that. And the asterisk is if you have no other choice, if you have to do this, just fucking do it. But double, triple check, read things again and again and again, ask all the questions that come up in your head, even if you think they're stupid questions, ask them and do your due diligence, and also call in all of your frickin' guides and cosmic helpers and everybody and just say, I have no choice but to do this. Please go before me and protect whatever I need to do. Okay, and please let me know anything that I need to take care of. That's how you handle it on the front end. So when it backs into Virgo, we are talking about processing. So mental processes, but anything that is a logistical process. So this is also talking about the things that are going to come under review during this Mercury retro, because that's what happens. Anything that happened since the last one comes up for review. So if you've signed contracts during that time when Mercury was direct, there may be something that comes back to say, we need to go over this, we need to renegotiate this. And as it goes into Virgo, we're talking about processes, how you get things done, the efficiency of processes, and also about health issues, how you understand your health, information about your health, what your self-care routine is. All of these things come up for review. Virgo can also talk about your work and your work environment, how you get your work done, that kind of stuff. So these are the things that are going to come up for review under this Mercury retro. And again, I am not going to look at any aspects that it makes by transit. I might deal with those as they come up. I might not. But the most important thing is to know where this is happening in your chart and what planets it may be impacting during that transit. Now, after this station, let's click forward 6 hours and 20 minutes. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Boom, we got the full moon chart. 6 hours and 20 minutes after Mercury stations. So, I'm happy this is happening overnight for me, but I'm not looking forward to sleeping very well that night. So let's take a look at the full moon chart. And I have to say, with all the shenanigans going on, this is the first time I'm looking at this chart. So bear with me. We have the full moon happening at 17 degrees. Sun is 17 Virgo. Moon is 17 Pisces. So this talks about looking at things in detail. Virgo really analyzes, looks at things in detail, studies, synthesizes, and Pisces is the complete lack of detail. Think about the fact that Pisces rules, and Neptune, Pisces ruler, rules fog and vapor and haze and the things that wipe out detail, that make everything look sort of formless and nebulous. So here's this push-pull of the sun wanting to drill down into details and be very specific and clear about things, and the moon going, no, let's just evaporate into the ether. And this highly sensitive moon. So the sun in Virgo can also be very critical. And it is critical thinking, quite literally. But it can be critical in terms of picking things apart and criticizing. And the Pisces moon is compassionate and empathetic and empathic and all of those things. So there is that push-pull between wanting to look at the details of things, and the potential is also there to get lost in the details of things. But I think it's more about detail itself becoming lost, critical thinking becoming lost. So this is the pull that's going on and the tension that's created on this full moon. We do have the moon applying to conjunct Neptune, so that makes it even more sensitive and what's the word I'm looking for here? Just nebulous is the word that I want, where everything just expands. Boundarylessness is, an issue there. We have, let's see what else. I'm just looking at applying aspects here. We still are under that Saturn-Uranus square, and, the North Node is conjuncting Uranus, although it is too wide to square Saturn, especially since, and it's weird that they have the North Node square to Saturn as an applying aspect. It absolutely is not because they're just moving away from each other. At any rate, that Saturn-Uranus square that we are collectively living under is this incredible tension between the old and the new, between the dogmatic and the open-minded, the forward-thinking, the innovative, the inventive, the humanitarian, versus the restrictive, the limiting, the delay, the hierarchy, the patriarchy. So we're living the dream or the nightmare, as the case may be. In the U.S., there are terrifying things going on governmentally. We are headed for even more upheaval. If you don't feel this, you're not paying attention. That's all I got to say about that. I do want to look at the Jupiter in conjunct between Jupiter and Venus here, even though it is separating, because it's a degree. It's within a degree, so it's very close. And the in conjunct says adjustments need to be made. And so the adjustments that need to be made here with Venus and Jupiter just by themselves, we have the greater and the lesser benefic. So the lesser benefic Venus is about our values, what we love, what we like, how we take pleasure. This came up in our Astro Dice last night. What we take pleasure in, what holds value for us, and also how we express affection. And it can be how we receive affection as well. Jupiter, the greater benefic, is generosity and humor and expansion, open-mindedness, philosophy, study, going abroad, long-distance travel. And so how do we adjust between these two things? Well, adjustments between what we value and how far we will go with those things. We have Jupiter in Aries, so it makes the expansiveness aggressive. We just want to, we want freedom at any cost. We want to be able to expand without any restriction whatsoever. Jupiter is retrograde here, so that becomes very impractical. So that takes us into the realm of going overboard. This Jupiter can be very prone to going overboard, to just going blind and saying, I'm going, I don't give a shit. Aries just wants to go, go, go. So that becomes very impractical. So we really need to look to Venus here to be practical, to give us something that's going to kind of rein us in. So we need to bring our values in. We need to bring the pleasure principle in. And Venus sitting in Virgo is very critical about value systems, very persnickety, very exacting on what I value. So this is also a time when if you do purchase things, it's going to be, I'm going to really look at them with a critical eye. So this is the adjustment, is what we value and keeping ourselves from going overboard with these things. And with that moon and Neptune in Pisces like that, I'm looking at just going overboard in things that give you pleasure. Overeating. Venus in Virgo can definitely be carboholic stuff, because Virgo in the flat wheel rules the 6th house, which is also food and our relationship with food. So Venus in Virgo talks about taking pleasure in food, and then the inconjunct says, but we can go way, way, way overboard with that. So we need to adjust. We need to, and like I said, with the Pisces influence there, we could take this to like an addictive level and just get lost in it. So we really, really need to be careful with how we self-medicate, how we take our escapism, which is Pisces and Neptune. We want to escape into pleasure. I know I've been saying these before in recent charts. So we want to escape into pleasurable things, but those pleasurable things can cause us problems physically. So, yeah, that's what we want to watch out for. And, with Neptune with the sun applying to opposition with Neptune and the moon applying to conjunct Neptune, we just, you might want to engage somebody else as your watcher to say, hey, I want you to keep an eye on me because I know I have a tendency to blah, blah, or here's what I'd like to do. Please, let's just have a pact that you're not going to let me go too far, because we can just get lost with all that Pisces energy. We can just get lost. Let's look at the other applying in conjunct here with, wait a minute, I'm looking here. Okay, no, I need to look at the Sun Uranus trine and Sun North Node trine, and yes, it shows Sun North Node trine is separating, but it's exact, so we're looking at them. The Sun Uranus trine is about individualism, is about expressing me and my uniqueness, and it's easy to do that with a trine, that I can. Sun in Virgo is also service oriented, so it's very easy to think about how I can put myself in service in a humanitarian way, how I can update things so that I am serving my purpose here on this planet. So you can really take advantage of this, trying to update things, to look at how your unique expression, your unique voice can be of service to this world. It also really brings out the rebellion, so you want to kick up and buck the system. Off you go then. This is a good time to do it. The North Node says that moves us forward karmically, so express yourself and look at how you can get active in the things to have an effect on what's happening on our planet now. I'm also looking at the moon sextiling this Uranus North Node conjunction. Opportunities are there for us to feel compassion. When we feel compassion, when we open ourselves up to be aware of suffering that's going on, it gives us the opportunity to make some changes. Okay, I think that might be all that I'm going to say about this. Other aspects that are showing here are just wide. We've got, Jupiter is separating from Mercury, but once Mercury turns, it's going to be applying again. So with a Mercury-Jupiter opposition, the danger is shooting your mouth off. Just going overboard aggressively with what comes out your mouth. And with Mercury stationing in Libra, we're talking about negotiations and things. So if you have to renegotiate something or negotiate something on the front end, just tap into that Moon-Neptune conjunction in Pisces and be kind. Run it through the filters. Is it true? Is it kind? Will it help? Because just because something's true doesn't mean you have to say it. And if you have to say it, you can be kind about the way you say it. And even if it's true and you can say it kindly, will that help anything? And if it won't be helpful, then just shut the fuck up and don't say it. Those filters are really important ones, and they really do help. So I hope this was helpful. A little bit of a longer video, but it's oofy times again, and you're in my thoughts. You're in my thoughts and prayers. Do your spiritual practice. That the Moon-Neptune conjunction also makes it very easy to connect with spirit. It makes it very easy to reach trance states and to get to, through process, Sun in Virgo, through doing the steps, doing the process, we can really reach out into the realm of spirit here and get some things done. So take advantage of that. Be very exacting in your spell work with the Sun in Virgo. Details matter. All right, you guys, I would love to hear what you think of this down below. And I will see you again soon. Not sure when, but I'll see you again soon. Until then, this is Luna. Blessed be.